First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Basham Yahushua, Maharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honestly brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And let me just play this. This is a clip from an interview done with Maxine Waters, rather, and it's a sellout in Esau's political system, and Megan the Slut. So yeah, check this out.
I wanted to ask, we've just come off an election where it is seeing the incredible organizing power in Black women like Stacey Abrams and Natasha Brown and the countless other community organizers who worked so hard this election season. And the response has been from some people to assign those Black women even more work and to talk about our potential to save the world, which we know we can do, but it's a very heavy burden.
So, I mean, this just proves that these so-called Black women are actually insane. Completely insane. She's speaking about the potential to save the world because you got a bunch of so-called Black women with all these political, activisms. You got people like Maxine Waters and, Megan Thee Stallion, a fucking slut. These people are supposed to be what? On a crusade to do what? Save the world? When all they've actually achieved is the further destruction of themselves and their own people. Okay, they don't have no potential to save the world. This is absolute madness, man. But this is why our people, they celebrate Meghan Markle marrying into the royal family. They celebrate these so-called Black women getting positions in Esau's political system. Okay, which salvation isn't going to come through Esau's political system. That's why they celebrate Kamala Harris. When Kamala Harris didn't do nothing for these so-called Negroes when she was in LA, but somehow she's going to be what? Some kind of crusade for salvation? And you don't even know what salvation is. That's how crazy it is, man. Alright? But let's get the scriptures, man. Alright? This is John 12 and 47. And if any man hear my words, believe and believe not, I judge him not, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. Right? And the world is talking about here is the Israelites, okay? Yahushua was the one that came to save the world. He's the savior, not the so-called Black woman, okay? The Black woman, the so-called Black woman isn't going to lead us to salvation. She doesn't even know what that is. Alright? He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words hath one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. And these so-called Black women like Maxine Waters and that, they're not receiving the words of Yahushua. So what salvation can they bring? They're on the road to destruction. Okay? That shows you this society is completely out of order. It's nothing but madness. I'll give you another example. Here we have Black Lives Matter, which is a movement championed by so-called Black women. I think a bunch of lesbian Black women. So you know where they're heading. Alright, the scripture said the wages of sin is death. Now, if you read it, it says Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 into the response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, blah, 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 is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy. Well, first of all, and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes by combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for Black imagination. Now, what the hell is that? Black imagination and innovation. Centering Black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. Now, look at this down here. It says, we affirm the lives of Black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all Black lives along the gender spectrum. What the hell is this? So these men are basically an LGBT plus group. Now, LGBT plus, the scriptures tell you what the judgment of the Lord is for them. Fire and brimstone. So what kind of salvation can this organization bring? Sounds to me like this organization is bringing fire and destruction. But that's why we tell you, man, that these so-called Black women, man, they were never set up to be our leaders or be our conduit of salvation. Yahushua was. And Yahushua set up this ministry. Okay? Yahweh Shai didn't set up the Esau's political system or Twitter to be the mechanism of our salvation. Yahweh Shai is our salvation, and he set up the ministry. Let's get the scripture, man. It's the Megan Thee Stallion and people. What the fuck is going on here, man? It's a joke thing. This stuff is crazy, man. Anyway, Ephesians 4, one of my favorite scriptures, Ephesians 4. And we're gonna let's read the whole thing here because it's so good. It all goes back to Yahweh Shai, and at the end of the day, Yahweh Shai set up men in the ministry to lead and teach the people toward the path of salvation, man. Not these women. Okay, so I don't know what the hell, Anyway, Ephesians 4 and 4 says, there is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God. And I would add, there is one way, because this whole black woman activism and black woman salvation and all this stuff, that ain't the way, man. That's just not the way, and it's evidently not the way. Because how can you talking about how you want to save the world, but you can't even be in order in your own house? Systematically destroying your own nation, but you talking about you want to save the world. Some bullshit, man. Trying to save the world, but you're a lesbian. You don't even know. Anyway, goodness me. One God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Hamashiach. Wherefore he saith, when he ascendeth up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Right? Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, right, men, some prophets, men, some evangelists, men, and some pastors and teachers, men. For the what? For the perfecting of the saints, right? This is our path to salvation, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai. So the ministry was set up for our edification and subsequent salvation, and that is being led by men under Yahweh Shai, not by women under Esau's political system. So what the hell what is going on out here? This is some weird shit. It's just weird, man. When you hear it, it's like, what are you talking about? Women have how they managed to, I don't know, man. This stuff is crazy. Feminism is absolutely insane. It's crazy. What the hell are you talking about? Okay. Alright, let's get 1 Corinthians 11:3. It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh Shai is the one that has the burden of salvation, not a bunch of black women, and definitely not Megan Thee Stallion and Maxine Waters and a bunch of lesbians. Okay? But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, and the head of the woman is the man. So the role of the woman is to be in place under the men. And the head of Yahweh Shai is God. Okay. This is 1 Timothy 2:8. It says, I would therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands, without wrath and doubting. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Alright? That's the most important thing. Not what you wear, but your actions be in humility and good works. Towards your husband, towards your father, towards your sister, your mother. You do everything in order and supplement the ministry. Alright? Alright, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. You're supposed to learn the right or the wrong of the matter from the men. Right? But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. But for Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. You see? But these women are trying to take upon themselves authority, and they're gonna go do this and they're gonna do that. And then when you really break it down, they're doing it all in the name of Esau. Esau's political system. It's all about Esau. Everything they do is under the authority of Esau. Esau's the one giving them the battery in their back. It's not of the Lord. That's why you don't see them celebrating the ministry, but they're gonna celebrate Megan Stallion and Kamala Harris and all agents of the beast.